My name is Nisha. I think I've never met this name. Yeah, okay. So, me and Lyman, the guy over there. Hi, Lyman. So, we teach environmental education and sustainable living. We are social enterprise. We've been doing this for about 3 years. And why I'm telling you this is because when we started out, we looked at how do we be more environmentally ethical and how do we be more accountable for our carbon footprint, because carbon footprint seems to be like the buzzword. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody knows what the hell it means. So as we looked at that in a more critical way, we identified that we create a lot of waste as individuals, we create a lot of waste as a family, and we create a lot of waste as a community. And we also consume a lot of these things because we never examine the way we are consuming what we're consuming. So there's a lot of unexamined assumptions in the way we live our life. Like if I told you when you go out and buy your groceries, how much of packaging comes with those groceries, I bet you never even calculated the weight of it. So it was through those conversations that we had that we decided, okay, we're going to talk about waste and resources. We're going to talk about food security because we didn't know where our food was coming from. And we also felt that a lot of the varieties we found in supermarkets were very specific. You go to any supermarket, you'll find broccoli, cabbage, salad, the standard iceberg lettuce or coral lettuces, and the number brinjal, the normal lady's fingers, and we're like, hey, wait a minute, this is not the only variety that's there. So that conversation created a discovery, a process of discovery to look at what other vegetables did people eat, could we grow ourselves. And you asked me 4 years ago, would I grow anything? I'll tell you no time. But over the years, we've been trying, we've experimented, and we do stuff, and it's great. So then, again, going back to waste, we realized that every time we eat something, there's also waste, right? So we started composting. So as we composted, we started growing stuff because we had free fertilizer. So we talked about food security, we talked about waste, and then we discovered that we're the only people talking about this because nobody else either knows about it or nobody else cares. So to satisfy my own curiosity, we started asking questions. Have you ever considered where your food comes from? Do you ever think of where your waste goes when it goes away? And then we realized, hey, you know what? The gap is people don't know because nobody's having these conversations. So we embarked on this journey to talk about environmental education that encompassed everything from ethical consumption all the way to the birds and the bees in the garden. And then we talked about sustainable living because none of these topics stand alone. They are all part of the larger conversation. And sustainable living is not just me saying, oh, I live sustainably. If you see me again, you probably see me in the same pair of skirt, you see me in the same pair of pants, I'll probably just wear the top. Because I realized at some point, until it rips, you have to keep wearing it because if I threw it out and it was still usable, the embodied curiosity is the best way to get around.